Hey everyone, welcome to the best U.S. Mint news channel on YouTube. I'm Sonofasilverstacker. In today's supplemental numismatic news and information for the 20th of October 2025, I've got a question. Maybe you have the answer, but I have no idea what's really happening. But I can tell you this, I think this silver story is, well, there's way more to it than what we're being told. It's kind of like when you're playing sports and the championship is finished, and then all of a sudden all this information and news comes out about who's injured and who played through some pain and who had a knee injury or who had the broken ribs or the busted finger. Now, before any of that, though, if you're new here, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. We're trying to reach a bazillion subs. It's actually a really big number. In fact, it's ginormous. Look it up on the Google machine. I'm not wrong. Now, we're always live, never edited, and always unscripted. I never know what I'm not going to say. Now, let's bounce over to Money Metals so I can show you what I'm talking about. All right, so gold is up 72.25. Yeah, to 43.37.35. Silver up 30 cents to 52.44. Platinum up 12.95 to 16.42.70. Palladium up 27.95 to 15.16.35. And Dr. Copper's up 8 cents to 5.01 per pound. Here's my problem, folks. Well, see attached sheets, really. So here we go. Let's talk about gold first of all. Oh, no. Back it up. Let's talk silver. All this news about the silver market, right? Tons of silver from the U.S. China ease London spot market squeeze. I like how they did that. That's interesting. Now we can go here. Silver sold out. China's white metal passes $125 per ounce as global shortage turns into historical crisis. Historical shortage? What? Crisis, sold out in India, panic in London. What triggered the silver market chaos? Well, gosh, I'll tell you what, it just hasn't been silver. Silver is not the only one going gonzo. Look at Dr. Copper. That's been raging lately. Palladium's been raging, up 27.95 today. We don't typically see that. Platinum up to 16.42. Gold has been on a terror. Now, what explains this silver hike right here in price to 52.44 with a 10.99 premium and $63.50 for American Silver Eagles? You know what? I think there's something more to the story about than a silver shortage. It really is not the whole picture. And like I said, it's kind of like when you're watching the World Series last year and, you found out that Freddie Freeman, had broken ribs or bruised ribs and he still played through. And we only found out after the World Series the championship game was over and won by the Dodgers. Something's up, folks. Why is it that silver is up and all the other ones are up with it? Okay. Did they have a shortage? Did they have a supply squeeze? I don't think so. It just doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. Check this out. All right, we're at the Google machine. I find here silver is the search query here. Silver prices fall if white metals rates dip further. Should investors see it? Come on, I think that's scare tactics. Silver shines bright, outperforms gold with stunning gains. 57 minutes ago from Financial Content. Market Beat says silver also glitters. 3 ETFs to ride the precious metal surge. Well, folks, I learned a valuable lesson when I had the Credit Suisse Velocity shares of silver. Yeah, I don't own that anymore, and I never touched it, and I thought it was silver, but boy, was I wrong. Those, well, I don't even want to talk about it. I wouldn't get into ETFs ever again, speaking for myself here. Overheated gold and silver markets under serious strain, but high prices should cure. Well, what? It's like they talk out of both sides of their mouth over here. And now let's look at gold. Gold holds drop as traders focus on U.S.-China trade credit woes? I don't think so. Gold soars to all-time highs amidst global volatility. Investors flock to cash-rich. Gold climbs on rate cuts, bets, broader uncertainty. Investors eye U.S.-China trade talks. I think we're at a full-blown trade war with China. I think that's what's going on. Royal Gold completes acquisition of Sandstorm Gold royalties. Royal Gold, same thing. Gold price Monday, October 20. Gold opens at 42.69 after Friday's all-time high. Look at this. It's the same story all the way around. Look at this. This is really interesting because here's palladium. There's really no news of palladium going to all-time highs or new highs or anything like that. It's a wasteland of information. Really nothing is going on with palladium according to the news. Nothing. Let's go to platinum too. Let's talk about platinum for a second. Precious metals decline. Platinum falls 5%. That was 3 days ago. You mean that's the newest news that they're going to show me here from 3 days ago? How is that even timely? Oh man, I'm pretty salty right about now. Look at this. China cancels platinum tax rebates that have stood since 2003. They're going to phase out long-standing platinum tax rebate for a state-owned giant, potentially opening up the market for new entrants. And there's really nothing. Look at Gen Z platinum members drive American Express. What? Platinum price 2 days ago. How platinum became the hot metal for watches. Do you think they made so many watches that it made the platinum price go up and skyrocket? I don't think so. That's just, I don't think so, folks. So what is it? All these metals, the copper, palladium, platinum, silver, and gold are reaching highs. And it is there a short squeeze in palladium and platinum and gold? I don't think so. I don't understand it yet, but I don't think we're meant to. I think there's a lot of disinformation, misinformation going on out there that it was actually, that's what's really going on. And I don't have the answers. I don't pretend to have the answers. I just know something that does not add up here. I mean, if silver's going to all-time highs here, not adjusted for inflation, I get that. But as far as numerically, yeah, that's it right there. 52.40, maybe 53 or $54 soon, right? But why is it that all the other precious metals are going up and all of a sudden everybody's got a reason? Oh, well, silver's like this only because of this. Only because there's no inventory left in India, and well, there's no inventory left in China. No, 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 no. Not at all. Not even close. It might have something to do with it, but this doesn't add up. Why is it only silver that they're talking about? Why isn't it platinum, palladium, and gold? I think I've talked about that enough. It's just really frustrating to look at the news and try and determine what's really happening here. Because let's face it, folks, let's face it, silver is the most manipulated and look, it's a really small market. There's not a whole lot of silver out there to play with, okay? There's really isn't. And it's probably the most manipulated metal, precious metal out there to date. In fact, I would go so far to ventures to say that we really don't know the true price of silver. We really don't. What is the deal with silver? Why is it so manipulated? Have there been silver manipulation in the past? Absolutely. And people have been fined for it. And then the government took their cut. And I don't know if anybody went to jail. Look at this. I'm going to type in silver manipulation here. Well, that's a big truck outside. All right, here we go. Silver manipulation is the act of intentionally influencing the price of silver through various tactics. Various tactics. What are tactics? I wonder, what is it? What is a tactic? Let's find out what a tactic is first. Let me look at the definition here, right? I'm going to just, right there, definition, an action or strategy carefully planned to achieve a specific end or goal. The art of disposing no, that's not it. So that's tactics in another way. Here we go. A topic with historical examples and ongoing accusations. I mean, it's still happening? What? This manipulation can involve attempting to drive prices up or even down, right? Because I don't know why they don't say that, up or down, as seen with the Hunt brothers in 1980, or more commonly in modern times, suppressing the price. Yeah, well, there it is. They're keeping it lower than it really, through manipulation, than what it should be. Historical case, here's the Hunt brothers, if you don't know. I was alive when this happened, and my grandfather, he was buying up silver like crazy at this time. In fact, he gave me a couple silver rounds that I still have to this very day. I think there's like a gold miner on him, and he lived in Oregon at the time, so I have some Oregon coins. Now, a prominent historical case of silver manipulation occurred in the late 70s and early 1980s, culminating in Silver Thursday in 1980. Here's the scheme right here. And by the way, isn't one of the Hunt brothers, don't they own the Kansas City Chiefs or something like that? Maybe, just maybe. The scheme, Texas oil billionaire brothers Nelson and William Hunt bought massive quantities of both silver and silver futures contracts, successfully cornering a significant portion of the global silver supply. And remember what I said, the silver market is not huge. It is not huge at all. Not like some of the other markets out there, like say for oil, for example. Yeah, not even close. Here's the outcome though, all right? It says the Hunt brothers' actions drove the price of silver from around $11 per ounce in 1979 to a high of nearly $50 per ounce in early 1980. And here's the collapse. So early 1980, I think it was January, on March 27, so it's about 3 months later, and March 27, 1980, commodity exchanges changed rules. Oh, look at that. Why would you think they would change the rules for buying on margin, leading to a massive sell-off? Do you think they knew that would happen when they changed the rules? The Hunt brothers were unable to meet their margin calls, and the price of silver crashed. Do you think the people who run the exchange were like, yeah, watch this, hold my beer? Yeah, here's the aftermath. The brothers were fined millions for not being able to meet their margin calls and banned from trading in U.S. commodity markets for their role in the scheme. Now, here's the modern allegations of price suppression. In modern market, allegations of silver manipulation typically focus on major financial institutions, often called bullion banks, systematically suppressing the price. Paper versus silver. Now, this is something they're talking about a lot lately. In fact, some ETFs were not allowing any new investors to come and invest in their silver ETF. That's actually happened. All right. A key argument for suppression points to a disconnect between the price of silver, the physical price, and the paper silver. That's absolutely true, right? That's AI saying that, which I agree with completely, which is traded through futures contracts on exchanges like the COMEX. Critics argue that bullion banks sell massive amounts of silver paper silver, all right, creating a false impression of abundant supply and a keeping prices artificially low, even during periods of physical demand, high physical demand. And here's the nature of it. I think there are more ounces of paper silver than ounces of physical silver. I think that's one of the problems. And can they do that? Does that sound legal? Can you actually sell more than there's silver available? Can you sell more silver ETF paper than there is silver available in the vaults? I don't know. I don't think you're supposed to, but do they? Maybe. This illegal trading practice involves placing large orders for silver futures that traders never intend to execute. The goal is to deceive other market participants and influence the price for short-term gain. Yeah, when there's money involved, folks, anytime there's money involved, or especially making large amounts of money, you know that there will be some people, organizations, that will take advantage of that and try and make as much money as they possibly can. Now, in 2020, that was 5 short years ago, right there, during the pandemic, JP Morgan Chase was fined $920 million, and several of its traders received prison sentences for a spoofing scheme that targeted precious metals market, including silver, between 2008 and 2016. Yowza! Yeah, and basically they got the U.S. government got paid. And where did that $920 million go? Do you think it went to investors who lost money from that suppression? I don't think so. Timing and price movements. Timing of price movements. Here we go. Some analysts in the precious metals community allege that sudden price drops or price slams Friday often occur during specific trading hours on the COMEX, particularly when silver approaches key technical price levels. Government interests. Here we go. Some theorists allege that suppressing the price of silver and gold has been a covert government policy for decades to help protect the value of fiat currency. Whoa, what is fiat currency, you might ask? You need to find out. Now it says here, debate and counter arguments. Not everyone agrees that a short-term or long-term systemic conspiracy to suppress silver prices exists. Not everyone agrees that a long-term, but don't we have evidence of that? Look at and what is long-term to them? Like 30 years, 5 years, 10 years? It doesn't make any sense, right? Now here, regulatory actions. Here we go. The prosecutions of financial institutions like JP Morgan demonstrate that regulators are actively monitoring and penalizing illegal manipulation. Market dynamics. Critics of manipulation theories argue that market dynamics, including legitimate speculation and industrial demand, play a larger role in determining silver's price. They also note that large short physical positions would eventually result in a massive short squeeze, driving the price upward. And I think that's that's part of the picture, I think, but there's more to the story, and we're going to find out after all the dust settles, because there's way too much dust in the air for anybody to really know exactly what's going on, because I think there's a lot of people who have a lot of money to lose, and they're trying to keep that money in their pockets and not have to shell out on a margin call or anything like that. Academic findings, an academic study published in 2022 argued that speculative activity, not market manipulation, primarily drove silver prices during the late 70s. Speculative activity. I don't know. Maybe not, but that's an argument that they can make. Right now, with that said, let's go over to the plus ones. I think I've yammered for this way too long. Like I said, we're going to have to wait until the dust settles on the silver. And look, why is it that silver has all these like reasons why it's going up? Meanwhile, all the other precious metals are going gonzo as well. Yeah, I don't think so. Now, this is Proverb 20, number 22. Say not, I will repay evil. Wait for the Lord to help you. Yeah, that's assistance. Now, I think what this means is that this is going to require patience, but it is a wise course of action because the Lord will always take care of his own. That's right. So don't you worry. Sit back, relax, enjoy the ride, and you'll end up hearing, oh, yeah, you remember that person that got over on you, that took advantage of you, that created the injustice towards you? Yeah, well, guess what? Yeah, now the same thing's happening to him, only worse. That's right. That's what it's all about right there. Now let's jump over to 395 99.9 KOIN Coin News Radio. This is Run to the Hills from Iron Maiden, and it's a 4K AI video animation, and there's some really cool stuff on here. Check that out. Yeah, Really good stuff. Now, with that said, I want to thank you all for coming. Thanks for dropping by. Don't forget to hit that like button. And if you do like what you hear and see, sub the channel. It's absolutely free. What's not free is going to be membership. It's $1.99 a month. And I know I'm talking pretty fast. I'm pretty geeked up. I'm pretty passionate right about now. It's $1.99 a month. It's the price of a cheap cup of coffee. It's like 6.6 cents per video in a 30-day calendar month. And it sure helps these videos keep coming out each and every single day. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Stacker out.